Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today, best of one, it's from the ladder, it is a ZVT. So let's get straight to it, let's introduce these two players. Up in the top right position we've got the Red Zerg from Team Liquid, the winner of ESET UK Masters 2013 Season 1. I had the honour of meeting him and having a couple of drinks with him, and he is a cool guy. It is Snute. And his opponent, spawning in the lower left position, the Blue Terran. It's MorroW. And I actually think I did the whole little like zoomy in thing the wrong way. It should have been, so I always try and alternate. So like if I went that way, I'd be like, yeah, Snute. And then the other side, I'd always try and do it that way, so you don't get dizzy. Because of course, if you always go that way, then you get a little bit confused, and sometimes the game bugs out as well. I've had that, especially if you're working with a dedicated obs, where if they do too much of this like dancey thing with the rotation of the camera, it ends up getting stuck like there. And you would not believe when you're casting how off-putting just having the camera slightly rotated is. Everything is just slightly off. All of the positionings you're used to seeing armies in, and knowing them when they've got a good... well, you can obviously see good attack angles, but like, if you see someone coming in here, in the ramp, and you can see like, units in that area, you cut off that bit, and it's just all really off-putting, and it's really peculiar. So, yeah, I hope Blizzard fix that soon, because it's quite frustrating. Anyway, drone coming down, gonna drop a hatchery, because that is what drones like doing against Terran players. At 15 supply, they usually do it, 300 minerals, and then another drone is following it up, maybe even another 2, and then BAM! Spawning pool goes down, and that is how it goes. But MorroW, he has learnt of this trickery of the Zerg swarm. He knows that they often like to hatch first, so MorroW is gonna command center first and be like, you base, I base, and eventually this sort of thinking will lead to games a decade from now where all we see happen is a player take like 4 additional bases before they make any units, and that will just be the new meta game, and then someone will revolutionize everything and come along and start 6 pooling, and it will break brains. That is pretty much what will happen. So yeah, of course I'm being slightly sarcastic before I get flamed in the comments below. Of course, if you'd like to flame me in the comment section below, go for it. Like, do it with sarcasm and fun, and it's all great. And like, when was the last time you got an open invite to like flame someone in the comment section? It'll be awesome. Take the mick out of the fact that at ESET UK Masters everyone said I looked like Harry Potter on stream for like an entire afternoon. I don't see it myself. I don't think I look like Daniel Radcliffe, but let me know if you think I do, because then maybe I could get a job as like a stunt double, which would be awesome if they were still making Harry Potter films. But yeah, anyway, back to this game of StarCraft. 2 orbital commands on the way in, 1 gas there. MorroW happily pumping out a single marine, probably going to start his factory shortly, putting the bunker in a nice little position there where it's sandwiched comfortably between the unbuildable plates and the command center, reducing surface area the Zerglings could attack with. The spawning pool is finished, of course, for Snute. He's getting his first 2 queens out, needs to look to get his 3rd base up relatively shortly, unless of course he's going to go be aggressive. And if he's not going to be aggressive, needs the 3rd base. The Overlord scouted that orbital command was done at a time that could only mean that it was a command center first opening. The other thing, of course, Snute does need to be a little bit cautious of is these things called Hellions, because Hellions are not fun. Hellions tend to kill you and all of your drones, especially if you're not as good as Snute. So that's why Snute is chucking down his Roachron. He's been like, you know what, Roaches, good counter to Hellions, they'll keep me safe. Also, if there's any Widow Mines or things like that, I can also try and put on a bit of pressure with these Roaches, because this bunker might be comfortably sitting down here, but if my Roaches sneak in through the top and come and position themselves back in this sort of area, I can deny mining from at least a couple of mineral patches. If I bring them all the way down here and really commit to it, I can deny mining from this mineral line completely until you get more marines out. But MorroW is not going to be getting many marines at all. Instead, opting for a 3rd command center. So literally all he got out, he went command center, racks, bunker factory, command center. That is how economical he's being. And obviously, he won't be floating that command center down anytime soon, but he will be able to get out an additional mule. But Snute, just as I thought he would, because he hasn't taken a 3rd yet, is going to be bringing on the Pain Train. The Pain Train consisting of 12 Roaches. 12 Roaches are going to just wander their way all across the map, and I'm not going to trace it the entire way. They're going to wander all the way across the map to around here, and then they're going to skirt their way through around the back and go, hi SCVs and mules, and they'll spit acid at them, because that's just what roaches do, because they have acidic saliva. That is the name of their attack, if you did not know. And if you did not know that, well, today you learned it, and that is always good to learn something new every day. MorroW is learning the double upgrades are good in the mid-game, especially if you go for a quick third command center. Widow Mines are good for being defensive from Zerglings. But what he's also about to learn is that Snute likes sending just a lot of roaches over and then taking a third base behind the aggression. There is no scouting done at all. These two Hellions, I see that the third base is a little bit late, but then, of course, the bunker and this orbit command are going to say, oh, roaches. 3 roaches, that's fine, okay, there's only 3 roaches, that's not too many, I can deal with that. And then the Marauder's going to come down and be like, oh my goodness, that is a lot more than 3. The Widow Mines will get a shot off, should be able to kill a roach or 2, that is great news. The bunker wasn't actually getting repaired there, but to be honest, Snute doesn't want to engage at the bunker. He wants to just keep his roaches down the back and be like, mining? I think not. Because all while he's keeping these SCVs over here, even though he's not killing any, he's saying, you know what, you're not actually going to be mining any income, so they might as well not exist. They're just wasted supply at the moment, and you get the odd SCV that pumps out, which could get sniped off if those roaches were paying attention, but the roaches are not paying attention. They're being very, very naughty, but there we go, gets the SCV down. The Hellions trying to do some damage. 2 Marauders are on the field, and 2 Marauders are actually very effective, especially if they've got Hellions tanking up the damage for them. But this is all looking good. The roaches slowly getting taken out, but just this has been a good 30 seconds minimum of time wasted. A couple of Hellions going down. The Widow Mines need to get focused, because otherwise they will burrow, and they do manage to get down. That means they will start detonating, picking this up. MorroW dealt with this really nicely, but all Snute really wanted to achieve was getting this third base up, and he's done that. He denied a lot of mining time, only killed 2 SCVs. But this lost mining time was incredibly substantial, and actually means that Snute is in a good spot. He's ahead in the worker count now, even though there's that third orbit command down very early on. He's comfortably now pumping out some more units to make sure that he's safe from any more aggression. Got a single evolution chamber that's researching nothing, does have his lair done, and does have road speed on its way. So this is into a nice mid-game position where he's expecting some kind of aggression. Just seeing these Marauders and Hellions are here thinking, ooh, probably going to come and try and hurt me. And because of that, he's pumping these units. He doesn't actually need to, though. And this is all due to the fact that he can't see this orbital command. If he knew that was there, it would be a much bigger giveaway. MorroW just adding on more production. Only just starting Combat Shield now. Does have Stim completed, though. Combat Shield is also, well, Combat Shield's on his way, no Concussive Shell for the time being. Roach Speed just about to complete, and just a lot of roaches getting pumped out. And if the roaches engage in the center of the map, that's going to be brilliant for MorroW, for Snute rather, because MorroW doesn't have any bunker to fall back to. Also, we see contaminating, rather creep spreading at the third, preventing this orbit command from floating down. A couple of units being picked up in the medevac and brought over. The roaches are here though, in a very sizable number. No Concussive Shell means that the retreat will not go too well, unless of course there's medevacs around, which luckily there are. So with those medevacs, they're boosting over. Gonna have to pull back though, because Snute is committing an awful lot to this, bringing in the Overlords first. You might be thinking, Snute, what are you doing? This is to soak up Widow Mine fire. Such a clever move here by the Zerg player. Unfortunately, getting himself a tad supply blocked, but in come these roaches still forward more, dealing as much damage as possible. SCVs getting pulled, just trying to defend this off, but we see Snute doing an incredible amount of damage here, and just this damage in itself is absolutely catastrophic for MorroW. 15-16 SCVs killed, generating some creep just in the base. Of course, all of the tech being scouted, it will get cleaned up. The Overlord's taking a lot of damage, and these really could do with getting pulled out of here. They're not achieving too much more, but just the sheer number of SCVs getting killed by Snute here is incredible. 38, probably going to be 45, maybe even 50 by the time this push finishes, and that in itself is just going to allow him to get really nice. But MorroW has fended it off for the moment, but he's currently sitting at 24 SCVs to 57 drones. Snute is without doubt thoroughly ahead, losing a lot of Overlords here though, just because they were sent to soak up the Widow Mine damage. Snute ultimately was aiming to end the game here and now. He's getting down his Hydroden. The double upgrades are complete for MorroW, so he's at 1-1 compared to no upgrades for Snute at all, and that means that he can engage cost effectively as long as he can stabilize, and this third orbital command is going to help him stabilize so substantially. It's really going to just mean that he can pump out units, he can get the additional mule, helping him stay in the game economically. But Snute, he can look to take his 4th base soon, or put on more pain. He's getting the double upgrades himself now, but they are a long way behind. The 2-2 upgrades just beginning now for MorroW, but look at this. Just so many roaches on their way over. ultimately coming to deny this bunker, try to deny the third base that is floating across as I speak. And this is just Snute really trying to contain his opponent, saying, well, you can have 2 bases, you've lost a lot of SCVs, but I'm not letting you catch up here. The infantry coming down though, a good number of marauders in there, 2 medevacs at the back healing up very substantially, and with the stim just able to shred through all of the roaches. The third base should be able to complete now. The roaches just deciding, I've got to turn and fight, not going to be able to get away. Snute definitely losing more there, 3 medevacs loading up, boosting forward. May actually just try for the drop in front of the roaches. Will they be able to get there? It's going to be close, but no, the roaches with speed will manage to get away. A couple will go down though, just due to the marauders getting some good volleys off. But Snute pumping a lot of units, getting a lot more Hydralisks out as well now. That added DPS is really going to help him, but the 1-1 upgrade, a disadvantage for the Zerg player, is not helping him in the slightest. The third base looking quite vulnerable. The third base for MorroW is already down. And this is really how you start staging a comeback. We can see the MorroW pumping SCVs 2 at a time, should start 3 at a time shortly. And he's just trying to force units out of Snute rather than bases and workers. But with more Hydras there, with more Roaches there, forcing a boost away just to get back to safety. 1 medevac being left on its lonesome. Don't start engaging too soon, because that gives it time to run and gives MorroW a chance to realise what is going on. He should boost it shortly. Boost is active and will now pull it away and get it to safety. But still, this is a real back and forth game. Snute is ahead in terms of supply quite substantially, but then a lot of his supply is taken up with roaches. Getting a couple more drones, but still only at sort of the 60 mark, which is not that high. Usually you expect to see a Zerg player at say 75, 70, even 80 plus is not uncommon, and therefore we need to see Snute either do some damage or drone heavily, and he's going to be opting for the drone heavily approach now. And this just means that with these, well, with the units coming back in for the next round of attack, it should be pretty good for MorroW, because actually Snute doesn't have much of a standing army for the moment. MorroW only behind by a few supply points, but does have the 1-1 upgrade advantage. He's currently at 2-2 compared to Snute's 1-1 upgrades, and having that is actually going to allow his infantry to do really nicely against the Zerg force. Overlord scouting everywhere, just getting a good read of what his opponent's got, but the infantry now moving forward yet again. The medevacs are there. As we can see, the roaches dealing some nice damage, but the infantry dealing more. A good attack arc there though for Snute, which is why MorroW pulled back. You don't want to engage in a choke like this where your opponent can just spread out and get a great concave on your army, because then they've got more units attacking than you have, and in itself will deal a lot of damage. So now with 1 tank here up on the high ground, it can siege up in a very comfortable position. Will get vision. That in itself is additional DPS that should be incredibly helpful for MorroW to keep this push going. If he can knock out this 4th hatchery, he's going to be in a lovely spot. But Snute, he's nearing maxed out. He's getting the muscular augments upgrade, and here comes the engagement. A great attack arc, a couple of units being prioritized to focus down the tank, stopping its high DPS and damage output. And it looks like MorroW, even with the upgrade advantage, not going to come off too well here. A couple of medevacs taking some damage. 1 did get destroyed, and if you keep the medevac count low, then you can't get escapes like this happening. Snute though pumping more units. His drone count is up to 77, much more comfortable. 55 here for MorroW, who has been behind economically all game after losing that good 39 SCVs early on from the big roach push. So MorroW pulling back, Snute still with a good supply lead. He's got his 4th base up and it is maintained, and having those 4th bases is really important for Snute, because it's meaning that he is still a base up, and even though he's got the advantage in workers, he needs the additional gas to pump out the real money units like the Hydras. Start on the high, but look at this, a Doom Drop is on its way into the main, but at the same time we have Snute moving across the map. This simultaneous base race situation just means that the Hive is not going to be safe. There's no way the Hive can be defended from this many units. Snute though, he's just pumping forward. He's like, well, you've got a couple of medevacs full of Marines and Marauders. I've got a near maxed out army. Pushing forward though into a tank, into just a big group of infantry. The attack arc, brilliant for MorroW, the best you could hope for, but more SCVs are getting taken out here. The Hydras deal such high DPS, the 2-2 upgrades are equal for both players. Muscular augments there as well, helping the move speed. The Overlord sitting there, but in forward come the Hydras, a couple of roaches in there as well. The rest of the reinforcements getting just rallied to try and save these additional bases, because as long as Snute deals good damage here and picks off the natural, well, the main is mined out, so it's not going to be too much help. The SCV count has plummeted, 73 workers killed, just 23 SCVs on the field. Snute doing the right thing, waiting, biding his time, getting reinforcements, which appear to actually be rallied just across the map. So Snute going full-on base race mode here, and I'm not sure that this is the smartest move for Snute, because MorroW does actually still have quite a substantial army, and if he pulled back, he would be able to defend this. He's already done an incredible amount of economic damage, but also MorroW has done a good amount of economic damage to him, killing off 2 hatcheries, and if this third goes down, Snute will be on just 1 mining base, and 1 mining base for a Terran is superior compared to 1 mining base for a Zerg. The drone's getting removed and pulled back. No units getting pulled though to defend. Just this 4th getting a couple of units here. A few swarm hosts on the way down. The Hydra's trying to clean out everything in MorroW's main. Stop any more production from being able to occur. 3-3 infantry upgrades are now done though for the Terran player. That gives them yet again the upgrade advantage. And 3-3 Marine Marauders with medevac support are very scary, I must say. And this is now just completely base racing. Drones getting pulled. A couple of Hydralists there, but Snute does have enough to defend this. There's only a single medevac healing and it's very, very low on energy. The Hydra's more on the way. The spawning pool on its way down. We've got a few more swarm hosts coming out as in addition to this, but with only 1 hatchery, well, MorroW, he's lost all of his production admittedly, but still, Snute, he's just got the biggest standing army, and I think due to that, he should be able to win. But this has been a pretty funky game, I must say. MorroW is in a massive amount of problems. He does have a planetary fortress down here, which could drag the game on a little bit longer, because Snute doesn't have many units out to try and snipe that off. But of course, with the army supplies sitting where it is, 72 to 25, that is not many units in the slightest. The Locust can start pushing in towards this 4th base, and all in all, this is not looking good for MorroW now. I'm expecting him to GG shortly. The Hydras can just move down. There's no infantry apart from in that bunker, and the few units that are about to get trapped by the resulting Hydras moving on forward. Hydras deal very well against this. Good bunker growth goes down, and with that, GG is called. So, that was just the best of 1. Congratulations for Snute on winning that. It was a pretty fun game. I hope you all enjoyed it. Of course, if you did, like the video, leave a cool comment, and subscribe. I get new games up daily to this YouTube channel, so I will see you all tomorrow. I'm Madals. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.